Hey guys, so it's reading update time once again. I managed to read an entire book last week, which, considering I only read 3 books in the entire month of August, is progress, but definitely far off my normal pace. But actually I read 1 book and a novella, so that's not too bad. And it's actually, the book that I finished is one that I mentioned last week, and it is Losing It by Cora Carmack. I have a really hard time saying her name for some reason. But anyway, I had this one for a really long time, never got around to reading it. But it's funny because one of the reasons why I never got around to reading it is because every time I would look it up on Goodreads or see it on Amazon, I noticed that people were kind of like meh about it. But yet, last week when I mentioned it in my video, I had all these people saying, oh my god, I read that book and it's one of my favorites of the year. And I'm like, where were you people before when I was looking up reviews for this book? But anyway, it is a new adult book. And it is about a girl named Bliss. Yes, that is her actual name. And she is just finishing up college. She wants to be an actress. And we find out at the very beginning of the book that Bliss is a virgin. And she and her friend devise this plan that she is going to lose her virginity. And so they go to this bar. And Bliss ends up seeing this guy. And she notices him because he is sitting alone in a bar reading Shakespeare, and that's what draws her attention. And the two of them strike up a conversation. There's flirting going on, and anyway, it turns out that this guy that she meets in the bar, don't you know it, he ends up being one of her new professors at school. Yeah. It might sound like a really kind of cheesy plot, but trust me, you guys, this book, one of the best books I read the entire year. From the very first page, it had me laughing my ass off. Okay, I have so many things highlighted in this book. I probably would have saved myself a lot of time if I just highlighted the entire book. There's so many laugh out loud moments. I absolutely love the dynamic between Bliss and the teacher, whose name is Garrick. He's a genuinely nice guy. He's not one of those angsty guys who, immediately when he finds out he's her teacher, he doesn't panic and he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my job, stay away from me. His reaction is kind of the opposite. He doesn't really care. He knows that they're not doing anything wrong, and he wants to pursue a relationship with her. And I liked that. I thought it was very refreshing. And I just loved every single thing about this book. My only complaint is that it's like 200 pages. It could have easily been like another 50 to 100 pages, and I would have loved it. So yeah, she is just a great, great author, and I really wish I had read this book sooner because it's so good, and I'm sure it's going to be in my top books of 2013. And let me just point this out, the whole losing the virginity thing has very, 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 very little to do with the actual plot of this book, just so you know. The novella that I read was actually the novella that comes after this, and I don't have a picture of it on my e-reader, so it is called Keeping Her. And this was just like an 80-page, give or take, little novella about what happens with Garrick and Bliss after the end of Losing It, and I am not a fan of novellas at all, but this one was really, really, really good. It felt like a continuation of Losing It. It was just brilliant, and I loved seeing scenes through Garrick's perspective, which you didn't really get from Losing It, except for the very end. So yeah, it was great. So especially for a novella, I gave it 5 stars. And Losing It, I gave 5 stars too. And I just remembered as I'm sitting here talking about novellas that I did actually read another novella last week. Yes. I read The End of the World by Derek Landy. And this is a novella in the Skullduggery Pleasant series. This was put out last year for World Book Day, and it was given out free in Australia. Excuse me, in Australia at least. I don't know about other countries. I, of course, had to order it from the UK because his books are just not very readily available in the States, unfortunately. And speaking of fantastic novellas, this was so good. It actually had a twist in this book that I was completely not expecting. And considering it's only like a little over 100 pages long, the story felt complete. It was really great. I really liked the new character that was introduced, this kid named Ryan. And I can't really tell you about the plot because if you haven't read the series, none of what I say would make any sense to you. So just suffice it to say, if you've read any of the books in this series, this is really enjoyable and it's really great and it's definitely worth picking up. I got this from the Book Depository. So yeah. To give you further proof as to the possibility that I am in a reading slump, I actually, after I finished the Skullduggery Pleasant novella, I picked up book 7, which is Kingdom of the Wicked. You guys know this is my favorite YA series. I can't get into it. It's not that it's not good. It's good. It's, you know, as good as the rest of them. I just can't focus on it. It's just, don't you hate that? Don't you hate when you want to read and you have time to read, but you cannot just get into anything you pick up? It's so frustrating. But anyway, hopefully I will have this done by the time I do my next update video next week. But yeah, I started this, and tonight I decided to start something else because I've been looking at this book for a long time. Before it was even released, I saw a book trailer for it and I saw ads for it on Goodreads, and it sounds really awesome, and I'm going to start it tonight, and I'm really hoping it lives up to the hype because you know me, I usually pick up a book that everybody's raving about and I hate it. But it is, let's see if I can get the picture to come up. Alright. Whoa. Okay. It is Night Film by Marissa Pessl. This is a big honkin' like 700-page book, but it is about a journalist who is investigating this guy named Stanislavs Cordoba, I think that's how you say his name, who is sort of this mythological underground horror movie director who pretty much has not been seen since the 70s. And this journalist, tries to find out if this guy actually even exists. And the cool thing about this book is that it's a multimedia book, which means that you've got the actual book, you know, text. Alright, so you got like the regular text in the book, and then you've got these, like, well, you can't really see it on the big one, like these articles that are this is supposed to be like an article from the New York Times about Stanislav's daughter committing suicide. So you've got like all of these things besides like an actual book. It's like you're looking at web pages, so it's really cool. And I've heard really, really, really good things about it, and I'm excited to start it. Wish me luck, you guys. Hopefully I will be able to give you my thoughts on this book in my next video. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's what I read, and that's what I'm reading now. And yeah, so as always, show me some love in the comments, and I will talk to you guys soon. And happy reading, guys. Talk to you later.